Everyone, and welcome to the Coaches Show. I'm Miles Poole, along with the head coach of the DDCC Storm, the athletics director as well, Coach Matt Ridge. Welcome, Coach. Starting the show at a different place tonight. We're in Brinkley Gym, which is really nice to be here. Eatery closed on Monday night, and we've got a few folks here. We got a really special show, and we've got a special guest tonight. You want to introduce our special guest for us?
Absolutely. Manuel Teague has been with us for 11 years now, and he is absolutely the best statistician of all of JUCO. He is the most dependable. To find people to do what he does and to be as dependable as he is, it's hard to find good help. And he is at every game, and he is so engaged. He knows all of our guys, and he's just so committed in a lot of ways, not just doing stats, but he's gone with me recruiting. His family's at everything we're doing. Just like tonight, he comes to all the coaches' shows. He's given money to the program, so he's just so invested, like a lot of people in our community.
Looking forward to having Manuel up here. I want to brag on you guys a little bit as we kick the show off. So you're 27-2, 21-1 in conference play. You finished the regular season, got a 22-game winning streak, undefeated at home, and you're second ranked in the country. So that's how we'll kick the show off. Also, you've won back-to-back Region 10 regular season conference championships. So congratulations.
Well, thank you, and we're really trying to base our pride on the future. And I know that sounds like a coaching cliche, but it's the truth. You're only as good as your next game, and obviously every team that we're playing now is playing to keep their season alive. So Bryant Stratton, who we barely beat on Saturday, is going to come in here tomorrow night as hungry as they can be, and we're going to have to be at our best, to have a chance to win, because if they were to lose, their season would be over and they'd be doing inventory.
Well, we've got a show that we're going to do. We have some players, I think, coming up as well, maybe Chase Mebane and Bryce Douglas, a couple maybe.
Absolutely.
But we want to talk about, there's been a lot of activity since our last coaches show, 6 games, and we'll talk about those. We'll have Manuel come up here, and we'll talk to some players, but we'll also talk about the upcoming tournament, which kicks off right here tomorrow night at Brinkley Gym. So let's get into it. We'll talk about the 6 games since last show, and we'll go way back to February 5th, Wake Tech. Big win, 93-66 win here at home. Now, this was a game against a team that had handed you your only L in conference play. They beat you 81-77 back on November 23rd. How satisfying, Coach, was it to win that rematch?
Well, to go back to the game in November when they beat us in Raleigh, we were without Javion and we were without Tim Bullware. So we were without 2 of our starters that play a lot of minutes. And we were tied with a minute and some change to go, and we were really bad that last minute. And a lot of people say the last minute it comes down to coaching if the game's close. So I did not do a good job of getting our kids to execute on either end during that last minute. So going into the game, we understood the severity. At that time, Miles, they had 2 losses. We had 1. So if they would have beat us, they would have swept us, and we would have both had 2 losses. So they would have gotten the tiebreaker. So our kids really was hungry to get after them defensively, and fortunately we jumped on them early that night, and I think we ended up winning by 20+, which was nice going away. I got everybody to get in the game, which is always nice. But Wake Tech is extremely talented, as they showed. They finished the year in 2nd place, and they're opposite the bracket side of, the side from us. So there's a good chance if we both win 2 games this week, we could see them Saturday afternoon in Brinkley Gym.
Well, a good rebound win there. Nice to beat Wake Tech. February 8th, we travel to Patrick and Henry. Also another big win for you, a 90-43 win. This was the 2nd game against the Patriots this season. The first game, you beat them 98-70. In this game where you won 90-43, talk about the disciplined defensive effort in that 2nd meeting.
Well, we try to speed them up. We do a lot of things defensively to try to, speed people up, not just in the full court, but the half court, how we trap out of our man and rotate. And the kids did a great job. Patrick Henry that night, they had 8 dressing. I think they lost some guys at Christmas due to grades, and they were down to 8 players, and 2 of those players were injured the week prior to us playing them. So going to the game, we knew they only had 6. So we really threw a lot of bodies at them like we do most teams, and we were trapping them all over the court. I think they had 30-plus turnovers, which created a lot of offense for us. So, when you can throw a lot of bodies at people that are only playing 6 people over 40 minutes, the goal is to wear them down. I thought our kids did a good job of that.
You did it without putting them at the free throw line. They only shot 4 free throws in that ball game, which I thought was incredible. Next day, short turnaround. You have a game against Guilford Tech. This one at home right here at Brinkley. And that, again, big win, 103-64. This was the 6th game this season where you guys have gone over the century mark in points. This was also the 2nd game in a row. I think you had been playing without 2 of your big offensive weapons. Javion and Jaden had not played since the Wake Tech game. Let's talk about the offense in this game, as well as the bench contributions in the 103-64 win.
Well, we got so many guys that can score double figures on any given night. I mean, here recently, when we're looking at the box scores, Coach Allen and I are kind of like, we're getting more production from our bench than our starters, but a lot of that has to do with playing time, because when you're up 30 and 40, you're not playing your top 5 always. So, we got a lot of kids that and I've said this all year, Miles, on the coaches show, that we feel like would start at most JUCOs that are not starting here because I can only start 5 players. And we told the kids at the end of practice today that even the kids that come off the bench here, they should have a starter's ego and think of themselves as a starter, because they really are talented. I mean, when you got guys like Bryce Douglas that doesn't start every game, who will be speaking tonight, he's our best shooter if you look at percentage-wise from the three-point line. It's nice to bring somebody off the bench like that can just absolutely fill it up.
We talk a lot about players that score a lot of points, but in this game, I think Michael Wade played a little over 12 minutes. He had 6 assists, so you can contribute without having to score a lot of points.
Well, Michael Wade is so unselfish, and in that game he had 6 assists, and I think he had no turnovers, which is obviously, to me, just as important. It's not always what you do, it's what you don't do that is important in terms of winning basketball games. And Michael that night had 6 assists, no turnovers. I think Jaheim Taylor, who's also here, had a really good offensive game. I think he finished with around 17. But, we got a lot of talented young men. And like Jaheim in high school, he averaged close to 25, 26 points a game. And he's coming here and playing not nearly as many minutes as he did in high school, but he's embraced that, and he's never once sat on that bench on game day and pouted or complained. He's just as excited for his teammates to score as if it were him, and it's special when you got a group that really plays for the name on the front instead of the back of the jersey.
Well, we move on to the Pitt game, and we'll talk a little bit about Jaheim in this one as well. So February 15th, it was a home game right here at Brinkley, 81-64 victory. I think that game was a lot closer than the 17 points. I mean, you guys broke out to, I think, a 13-point halftime lead, but Pitt made a pretty good comeback, a good run at you guys. They cut it to 5 with 12 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the ball game. And then there was just a turning point, I thought, in the ball game. And I think we talked about it after the game, where I think Jaheim Taylor maybe was going in for a dunk, and I don't know if the shot was blocked or if Jaheim passed it off the backboard. But Jarvis Tillman on the follow-through had the big slam dunk, and Pitt never got close after that. So that was a big momentum shift. Can you talk about that play?
Well, first of all, Jaheim will say he passed it probably if we get him up here, but he got his shot blocked. But Jarvis was running the floor, got the rebound, and dunked it, and then they got a technical foul right after that. So we went from a 5-point game to a 9-point game because we got 2 free throws. And that was a big point in the game because they had cut the lead to 5, which is the closest it got in the game. And, Jaheim took it strong there. I thought he got fouled, and the kid that blocked the shot said something he shouldn't have. And then Jarvis dunked it as he was talking trash. And then, of course, we made the 2 free throws. So that was a big point in the game, no question about it.
Well, talk about the play of the big guys. We talked a little bit about Jarvis, but Chase Mabin, who's also here tonight with us, had a really big game against the Bulldogs. Both of your bigs, I call them bigs. Tillman had 13 points, I think, and Chase Mebane had a good night as well.
Well, Jarvis had a double-double, and he also had 6 blocks in that game. Jarvis can, alter and block shots. He has such great timing, such great length. He can affect the game in so many ways other than scoring, and that's what we tell our players. There's a lot more to the game than just scoring, and Jarvis if he does continue to evolve into more of a shooter and scorer, there's no telling what level he can play at. Catawba was here that game to watch Javion and LJ, but one of the first guys they wanted to talk to was Jarvis Tillman after the game. So you never know who's watching you, and he certainly had a great game. Chase Mebane as well, I think, had 9 points, 10 rebounds. So when you got guys that are willing to go in there and bang and do the little things and not just always focus on scoring, like rebounding, altering and blocking shots, you have a chance to have a special year when you surround yourself with a lot of talent, when kids play hard, smart, and together.
Well, as the season draws to a close, sometimes it can be bittersweet in ways, and not that it's bittersweet here, but you know, you sort of know that the end's coming for some players. Before the game, before that pit game, you guys recognized 5 of your sophomores at midcourt. You know, LJ, Javion, Tim Boulware, Zy Dawkins, and also Bryce Douglas. Take a moment, if you will, Coach, just recognize those young men again and talk about what they mean to the program.
Well, Bryce, who's here tonight, and Uzziah transferred in. Bryce transferred from Notre Dame College, a Division II NCAA school, and then Uzziah transferred here from Erskine. And they're both not just talented basketball players, but they're more importantly good people. And they have handled playing for me, which is not easy. I bark at them every day. They look me in the eye, they say, yes, sir, and then they try to do what I coach them up to do every single day. And because of those things, they'll be winners off the court. They're going to be coachable and employable, and they're going to be great husbands and fathers one day. And both those kids have been an absolute joy to coach. They're both getting recruited by 4-year schools, and I'm working hard to help them get to the place that's the best fit for them. Now, the other 3, Tim, LJ, and Javion, as you know, have been here 3 years. And just like Uzziah and Bryce, they're also winners off the court. They're my 2 captains this year. And what they've done on the court the last 3 years is hard to even fathom. I mean, 3 regular season championships, 2 regional tournament championships, led us to the national championship game last year, where I screwed us up and we lost. And their overall record, and I didn't even know this until we were talking about it on the way home the other night as they walk in the gym right now. I'm hopefully not blowing their ego up too big. But their overall record in 3 years, Miles, is 81-6. And they're undefeated in this gym. They have not lost a regular season game, a non-conference game. They haven't lost a game. So hopefully we can keep that streak alive for 3 more games this week. But in region play, in conference play, those 3 guys, LJ, Javion, and Timmy, are 69 wins and only 3 losses. So they're certainly winners on the court, but more importantly, and I mean this in all sense of the word, it's not just a cliche, they're winners off the court.
Agreed. Next game, Johnston Community College, a 97-60 win. This was your 21st consecutive win. It also clinched for you guys the Region 10 regular season conference championship for the 3rd straight year. Not so much talking about the ball game, but the importance of that achievement, the regular season conference champion. Talk about that.
Well, you know, when you look around this special place that my wife calls my second home, you know, we've been blessed to have a lot of talented young men that have helped us win a lot of games, not just in this gym, but consistently on the road. And, you know, for us to clinch the league 3 years in a row in D2 in our 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year is really special because, in my opinion, it's harder to win the regular season than it is the tournament. The tournament is 3 games. You got to win 3 in a row. But they go 21-1 in this league on the road, and obviously you get home games. You know, it's not easy because there's a lot of good competition in this league, players that'll be moving on and playing at the next level. So I was so proud of the kids that night to finish that game off. You know, we were supposed to play that game the Saturday prior, and it didn't happen. But we were certainly ready to play Johnson when they rolled in here on that Thursday.
Well, you end the regular season Saturday at Bryant and Stratton, the game on the road, a team that you beat in November, 92-59. This was a much closer ball game, and this was a different team, I think, than you saw the first time around. They had, I think, Caleb Dawkins, the transfer out of Norfolk State U that you mentioned, didn't play the first time that you saw him. 74-70, much closer. Talk about what it took to come away with that 4-point win.
Well, number one, we didn't shoot the ball well there. And, Coach Allen says it best all the time, defense travels. And our goal is to hold our opponent under 65, which we did not do. And to be honest with you, I don't feel like we played great on either side of the ball. We had too many careless turnovers. We didn't shoot the ball well. And defensively, we did not do the things that we were emphasizing the day prior to the game, which was trying to keep them out of the paint because they just drive it so hard. And a lot like Pitt, they are extremely long, extremely athletic. They out-rebounded us. They shot a better percentage than us. And to be honest with you, we're lucky to get out of there with a win. This is a very dangerous team that we're going to be playing tomorrow night. And like I said earlier, they're playing to keep their season alive. So we talked about it all day today in film session and during practice. We have to have at least the amount of energy they have, hopefully more tomorrow night, because we're supposed to pride ourselves in getting stops on the defensive end, and we're supposed to do some things scheme-wise to keep them out of the paint. So hopefully tomorrow night our fans and community will see a team that's a little bit more determined to play defense, because I told our kids today in practice, and I meant it, if they're not playing D as hard as they can, they're not going to be in the game very long.
Well, I like to dissect the box scores, and we'll talk to Manuel Tigg in just a moment. He sends the stats out after every ball game. And as I dive into this game, Coach, one thing stuck out to me, and it's something that you said to me at the beginning of the season. You said, we talked about the depth of your team, and I think your statement, maybe not verbatim, was every man on this team could start for any team in the Region 10 conference. In the Bryan and Stratton game, if I look at this point distribution, I mean, you had 4 guys in double figures. Javion had 14, Chase had 12, Bryce had 11, and Zai had 10. You also had 2 others, LJ and Tim Bulware, were 9 points apiece. You almost had 6 guys in double figures. The question I have for you is, what's your secret sauce to getting this type of balance out of this team?
I don't know what a secret sauce is, but I can tell you we expect our kids to share the ball, pass to the first open teammate, and make the right play. So many kids in 2022, the ball will stop in their hands, and they want ball screens, and that's not the right way to play the game, Miles, in my opinion. The right way to play the game is to keep the ball moving, and then when you got an opportunity to attack, you do it. But you play together, and when kids come to junior college, I think the most challenging job that any coach in the country has is to get the group to play together. Because most kids are coming here with the hopes of moving on to a 4-year, and in their brain they're thinking, for me to get to a 4-year, I got to get mine. And so there's a lot of things we do as coaches to get these kids to buy into playing together. And we recruit kids with high character, and we hope that they understand the more that our team wins, the more they're going to get recruited. When you get to Danville, Illinois, there's not a couple college coaches sitting in that gym. It's 40, 50, 60 college coaches. So no college coach wants to recruit a kid who's losing. They want to bring kids in that expect to win. And I'm blessed to have kids like Javion, LJ, and Tim for 3 years that not only expect to win, but they're willing to sacrifice a good shot for them for a teammate to get a great shot. And sometimes kids will take bad shots. Like the other night, we took 3 or 4 bad ones, and I showed them on film today. And I said, look, this is why you came out. Do you understand why? Number 1, you weren't on balance. Number 2, we hadn't reversed the ball, et cetera, et cetera. So we use film to teach, and on game day I use the bench to teach. And over a course of 30 to 40 games, kids learn if they take a bad shot, they're coming out, that generally affects their shot selection.
Well, let's check a few comments before we bring Manuel up here. Essie Jones is watching, says she can't wait for tomorrow evening, and she says, go win these 3 games, next 3 games, Storm. She also says, Coach, to you, she goes, you've been a blessing to this Storm team. I'll miss my Storm family. I love all of you. So,
well, Essie is a certainly special lady, and Javion knows how lucky he is to have her in his life. And I pray that Essie, you and your family, after this year's over, will stay in touch, because you've been a big part of our Storm family for the last 3 years. And we love you and Javion and your daughter, and just hope you'll stay in touch.
Also, DJ Suggs sends us a comment in here. He says, my guy, and then he says, let's get this 3-peat. So,
DJ, we hope to see you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock.
All right. So we'll bring Manuel. We'll take a little time out. We'll bring Mr. Tigg up here. and chat with him for a little bit.
All right, big time.
Welcome, Manuel.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
So Coach Ridge says that you are all in. That's his comments when I ask about you. He said you've invested a tremendous amount of time, money, sacrifices in Storm basketball over the last 11 years. Can you tell us a little bit about the role that you have now and just your passion for Storm basketball?
Well, how it all got started, Coach Mullis and Matt got with me during the summer after the 2010-2011 number one team, and Chris Rice was going to give it up, so he just asked me would I be interested in doing it, and I said yeah. I just got to check it my work, and I couldn't say yes because I didn't know what and all it was going to involve as far as the time of the day, getting home late at night, getting up early. So I thought about it, and I finally chose yes. So that yes that day has led to 11 years later. So, but I just enjoy being around all the players. I've seen a bunch come and go. It's just with Matt letting me be on the inner circle, as he calls it, it's kind of special.
Now, you said you had to check with your work. Did you really have to check with your wife?
Well, some of that was, but she enjoys it just as much as I do.
What do you enjoy about keeping the stats?
Probably just like y'all was up here talking about it. It's kind of special to be able to record all these stats for all these guys, and then y'all publicize it and speak out about it. It kind of makes me feel a little bit special, to know that I'm the one that sent all those numbers out. So
I take every email that you send me. The first thing I do is print it off, and I go through those stats. So I appreciate you. We couldn't do what we do without what you do, Manuel. So thank you for that. Now I got a question for you because I know what my answer would be, but I'm curious to see what yours is. Have you ever gotten caught up in the ball game and forgotten about keeping the stats?
Probably when I first started, yeah, but after the first 2 or 3 years, after I got used to it, I kind of forget about it. I stay focused in it. Now, the guys that I've had to help me, yeah, they get caught up in the game. It gets a little bit monotonous, especially like the game Saturday. Getting tight, coming down to the end. They kind of want to get into it and they forget. I mean, it don't take just about 5 seconds, and I'm already behind maybe 8 or 10 transactions. So it's just. But overall, I try to stay focused and don't get into the game.
Yeah.
But now, like out at Illinois last year, the national championship game, it was a little bit hard, but I still stayed in it. And of course, all of our conference championships that we've had, when it comes down to the end, I know it's going to be us. I kind of let everything go because when the horn goes off, we all kind of celebrate together. So other than that, I stay focused though.
I've caught myself watching these guys. These guys play so fast. They get into those, you get into the dunk fest. They start dunking, and all of a sudden I forget. I'm not talking. I'm just watching. So it's hard to focus sometimes as well as these guys play, not focusing just on them. So challenges for you. What challenges in keeping the stats, Manuel?
Trying to not make too many mistakes. I try to write. If I miss something, we get it wrote down. I can go back in and correct that. Just the speed of the game. Especially under the basket. I mean, a shot goes up. If a shot goes up, block, rebound, 4 or 5 rebounds, another block. All that. I can't see it all. I have to give it to my help. They like Ethan this year and Aaron. They're doing a good job. I've had a lot of good spotters over the years. But
did you before you started doing the stats 11 years ago, were you a Storm supporter or fan before then?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We didn't. Me and my family didn't come that much the first year, but after that, the second year, we kind of got into it really hard, and then I think that year there, the 2010, 2011, when we went to Maryland for the district championship, we made that trip. That was our first long trip with them. And then after that, it's been a little bit deeper, more in depth ever since.
Do you have a favorite memory that you could share with us over those years?
Not really, because every year there's memories made. Probably the best one was probably 2017 when we lost our 5 starters at Central Carolina against Sand Hills. We went to Georgia with our second and third string players and beat a outstanding Montgomery team to go to Minnesota. That was really it was kind of a shocking moment, but it was outstanding to be able to see that and be part of it.
I'm going to put you on the spot here because you got some players in the audience here. Do you have a favorite player, either present or past?
I have to say no on that also because I've been here so long and I've seen so many good players come through. I have to admit this team this year has been really special just because of probably 60% of the players are all come back from last year, year before. Javion, all of them been here 3 years, as he said. But I do have to. The Justin Glovers, Trey Williams, Marius Harrison, and now Javion being All-American players. I have to give it to them because they, it's just hard to get to that level. But all of the players, I enjoy being around all of them.
Is there something that you can share with us that the average listener may not, or the average fan may not know about DDC basketball or Coach Ridge? Anything you can share with us?
Just like he said earlier, he's tough. It's kind of special for me. I would have never dreamed I could ever be doing this kind of work with a school or a franchise here that's been as tough and as good as we have been over the 15 years. It's just I encourage any player out there that's coming to be able to give him a first look because he is him. I have to give it to Coach Allen too. He's only been here 4 years, but he's done an outstanding job also. But me and Matt's just over the years has just come closer and closer, and it's funny because we talk all the time, even in the off season. And this past summer when I had knee replacement surgery, he came to the house to see me, and it's just stuff like that makes it really special.
Well, the things, if you think about this year's team, maybe some things that you feel like this team has to do to be successful in getting back to that national championship stage, not just the stage, but back to that final game?
Just staying humble, listening to the coaches, because, we got there for a reason. It was all hard work, film watching, being everywhere they need to be at the right time. Just do the same, be the same, and hopefully we'll get there.
Sounds good. Well, we thank you for all that you do to support Storm basketball, Manuel. We really appreciate you. And like I said, I couldn't do what I do during the games without the work that you do, and I appreciate all of that because I know it's some really, really tough work. But, that's the loyalty that you've shown over the years is just phenomenal. So thank you for that.
I appreciate it.
Nice job, Manuel Tig. Yeah, deserves a round of applause, absolutely.
And just for the record, every year, Miles, we have the people inside our inner circle get the opportunity to buy some gear from BSN, and Miles and his wife keep BSN in business every year because they purchase a few things every year. But no, seriously, Miles, he is the best, and he is a big part of what we do. Obviously, I use stats at halftime, and it helps us make decisions on what we're going to adjustments we make. And then, of course, after the game, we use stats, and then we get those on to Kevin Egan, who actually does an even deeper dive, which we talked about earlier this year on the show. So we appreciate you, Manuel, love you, and I mean that sincerely.
Did a good job, Manuel. Essie Jones just wanting to give a shout out to you as well. She says he's great at keeping the stats. She's not there all the time, and she really likes going back and looking at those things. So she said, thanks for all of your hard work. So.
And this year, Miles, he hasn't been able to catch the bus as much as he has in past years because of his job. So a lot of these games he's driving to, and that's a lot of wear and tear and gas. And so, he's putting a lot into this outside of just showing up on game day. In the past he's driven, rode with the team on our bus. But this year he has a few times, but it takes a lot of time and commitment away from your family to be a part of this, and so I appreciate him a lot.
It's just another example of things that go into making this program a special program. All right, so we got some postseason play to talk about. You want to talk about that before we bring some players up?
Yeah, let's do that, and then let's get those guys up afterwards.
Okay, postseason play starts tomorrow night right here, 7 o'clock, and is against the same team that you played on Saturday, Bryan and Stratton. So, talk about this quarterfinal matchup and the challenges that the Bobcats are going to bring to you when they come here tomorrow.
Well, like I said earlier, they're really long, they're athletic, and they drive it really, really hard. And when they're making perimeter shots and doing that, they're a hard team in which to defend. But hopefully tomorrow night we'll do a much better job of cutting off those driving lanes, not just on but off the ball, and doing some of the things we worked on today in practice and things we talked about in film and over the scout report. And there's a few guys we want to guard a different way, which actually you and I talked a little bit about. But we want to hang our hat on that end. We want to do a better job getting stops so we can get out on the break, which is when we're at our best.
Well, as you look back over the season, the regular season is over. How do you think your team's positioned right now to handle the postseason play?
Well, you never really know. You want your team to be playing their best this time of year, and we sure hope that we will do that. We do have a few guys that are trying to get some aches and pains and bruises healed up. Javion's been fighting, that swollen ankle / whatever you want to call it. I mean, he says it's not swollen, but Chase's finger and wrist, he's been nursing all year off and on. LJ's got a growing injury. Bryce's hip, and Jarvis has got a hip injury. But none of these guys, when you play the number of games, and, when you start in August and you play all the way to March, that's 8 months. You're not going to be at 100% for 8 months. It's just not going to happen when you have, I think today was the 81st practice. And, when you have 81 practices and 35 to 40 games, that's 120 days. You're going at it 2 to 3 hours a day. So, there's no way you're going to have everybody 100%. And a lot of these guys, like Javion, Chase, LJ, Bryce, and Jarvis, they've played through those things, and they're tough, and they're competitors. So, hopefully we'll be playing our best starting tomorrow night.
Jason Gore sends a text in. He says, take a charge.
We expect our guys to do that. Actually, this team, Jason, is as good as that as any team we've had here, in my opinion. It's not unusual for us to take 5 to 8 charges a game.
Kip Childress also watching. I think Kip might still be in Daytona, and Brandon Mullis is also watching. So thank you guys for that. The coach, we got the Region 10 tournament, and then you've got that national tournament out on the horizon. Remind everyone again about how you qualify for that national tournament.
Well, this year's different. The last several years, if you won the regular season, you got an automatic berth. But this year, you have to either win the regional tournament, which starts tomorrow, or if you did win the regular season, which we were fortunate enough to do, and you don't win the tournament, you get a one-game play-in with the Florida region winner, which will be March the 5th, the Saturday after the finals of this tournament. So if for some reason we weren't to win the tournament, we've earned the right to play that one game. So those are the two ways. Now, if the same team, which is us, that wins the regular season wins the tournament, the runner-up in the tournament this Saturday will play that Florida team for the second berth. Our region gets 2 berths to the Nationals. I hope we are able to keep that going forward. But as of now, we have 2 berths because of the strength of our region and the number of teams in our region. However, if Florida continues to get more and more teams in their region, they're going to have their own region eventually. So if that happens, we'll probably lose one of those berths, and then the only way at that point we would make it is if you win the tournament.
So does it matter either way that you get into it? Does that have an effect on your seeding?
I don't think so. I mean, there's a committee that has long discussions, and they're from all over the country. They do it over a Zoom, and the guy that was the chair is a guy by the name of Chris Parker, who is the athletic director at Sullivan Community College, who used to be D3 when we were D3, and I got to know Chris pretty well when we were going to national tournaments. And when we flew into Danville, Illinois, we actually ate at a restaurant we went to several times for breakfast, and he was there the day of the national championship game, and he actually was seated right beside my wife and I in a booth. And we got to talking to him, and he said, Matt, I was the deciding vote with the Board of Regents all over the country as to who was going to be the 1 seed, either Davidson or Des Moines. And obviously he said, I voted for you guys because of the strength of your schedule. You beat Sand Hills 4 times last year, and you played D1 JUCOs and beat them. And he went on all his reasons as to why. So I think what plays more into it is how you've done all year, your ranking, and of course your strength of schedule in non-conference play. I think all those variables are really important in terms of the seeding for the tournament. Now, if you go back 3 years ago, we were I think, 2nd or 3rd ranked team in the country, and we got the 7th seed. So it's not just your ranking. There's other variables that go into it.
Okay. You want to get a couple players up here?
Yeah, let's get Bryce Douglas up here. I know he's chomping at the bit to be on air. So he brought his girlfriend with him tonight, his better half.
Got a couple of more shout-outs here. Bonita Jones again saying she's praying for complete healing for all of the players. And then Shanta Head-Held High Jones says, hey, Coach, let's go Storm. Joy Elizabeth, Storm Strong. There's a lot of folks listening tonight. We appreciate that. Bryce Douglas is with us. Welcome, Bryce.
Thank you.
Glad to see you. Bryce is a sophomore guard out of Centerville, Virginia. And Bryce, you coming into this year, you started getting more playing time as the season went on. Right now you're averaging a little over 10 points a ball game. But I think the last 5 games you scored in double figures. Talk a little bit about your progress and how you found your role with this team.
Really, it was just trying to get used to the offense and how we play. We really run here. I've never really played on a team where it's spread out so much and we get up and down the court. So I just had to find a rhythm, and I think I found it in the past few games.
How did you decide, what made you choose to come to DDCC to play basketball?
Really, it was Coach Cap last year. Free my man, but yeah, he used to be a coach around my area where I'm from, back in the DMV, and he hit me up one day, and he just told me that I probably would playing for Coach Ridge. Came down on a visit and just committed. We moved from there. So,
what's it like playing for Coach Ridge and Coach Allen?
I'm not gonna lie, it's tough. Especially this year. Last year I redshirted, so I didn't really get the full effect of Coach Ridge. But this year, man, he'll get on your nerves sometimes in practice, man. He really knows how to press your buttons, push you to go harder. And I never really had a coach be able to tap in and get me to play hard like he does. So,
as you were looking at coming to school here, did you look back and look at the history of this program and just say, wow, in 13 or 14 years, these guys have done something special? Were you aware of that, or did you not know about it until you got here?
I really didn't know about it until I got here, honestly. But then when I came in and saw all the banners in the gym, I kind of got a feel for the history and of the program.
What makes this place this school a special school or this program a special program for you?
I mean, it is in a remote area, but it's just really family oriented. So like, it's just like in like the short time that I've been here, like I developed like relationships that would like last like for a lifetime. So it's real good.
You guys spend a lot of time with each other outside of practice?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I got my girl down here, so I can't really like do too much hanging out and stuff. But on the road and stuff, like yeah, we be hanging out.
So what do you think about how the team's playing right now? You think you guys are playing pretty well together?
Oh, we hit a stride recently, man. Like we really we getting like a feel for each other. So yeah.
You have any plans after school here?
Just trying to find my next home. Played 4 years, so I'm still looking, but hopefully everything goes good for me.
Are you looking at any schools or any schools looking at you that you can talk about?
I have like Ferrum, UNC Asheville, and really I'm just trying to like just get offers in Danville.
Both of those are good schools. Ferrum is a good school. Carson Long, right? Carson Long, one of the assistants here, and Tyler Sanborn, Coach Sanborn there.
Coach Sanborn, yeah.
Good guys. Those guys played local ball here at Guilford College. All right, any thoughts, Bryce, for you as you head into the Region 10 tournament and face a team yesterday, face a team that Saturday you guys had a tough time with? What are your thoughts about tomorrow's game?
We just got to focus on the scouting report, honestly. Like, they're playing for, like, this is their last game of the season, or could be their last game of the season, so we just got to come out, be focused, play hard, and just do what we do.
Well, I appreciate you a lot, and good luck to you guys tomorrow and through the rest of the tournament, and we look forward to seeing a W tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Nice job, Bryce. Are we bringing Chase up here?
Chase, you want to come on up? Before Chase comes up, Bryce, it sounds like your girlfriend can play defense too. She got you on lockdown? All right, Chase, come on, buddy.
All right, Chase Medman going to take the seat now. Chase, 6'6", 210-pound man-child, guard forward, they say, from Burlington, North Carolina. Chase, welcome to the program. So coming into this season, I think you were a little banged up to start the year out maybe, but you've had more playing time as the season's gone on, averaging about 7 points a ball game, a little over 5.5 rebounds a game. You started to play well as the seasons wore on. A couple of games, I think Saturday you scored double figures, had 12 points and 8 rebounds in that win. Talk a little bit about playing Bryant and Stratton again for the second time and how close that game was.
Yeah, I think when we played them, I think we, struggled offensively, find a groove, and also defensively. And we look forward to playing them again and have a better groove defensively, because that wasn't one of our better defensive games. So we look forward to that.
So I'll ask you the same question I asked Bryce. When you were looking at places to come and further your playing career out of high school, what made you choose DDCC?
Coach Ridge, he made it very clear that he wants to win, and I think winning is something that I wanted to do. So when he made that very clear, when I talked to him, it was all I go from that point.
Feels like a family here.
Yes, sir, definitely.
So how is it to play for Coach Ridge and Coach Allen and Coach Jay last year?
Playing for Coach Ridge it's tough, but I never had anybody question love for the game of basketball like Coach Ridge has, and he's gonna push you every single day, harder and harder. And even though it's tough, I appreciate that from Coach Ridge. So, yeah.
Coach Ridge pushes you hard. What about your teammates? Do you guys push each other pretty hard? You guys go at it hard in practice?
Yeah, definitely. I think it starts with our two captains, Javion and LJ, and it trickles down, 1 to 15, and even from our managers, they all want to push that forward and keep everything going, to keep winning as a priority.
Do you have a favorite memory that you could share with us at your playing days here so far?
I would say just Nationals in general last year. Nationals was a fun experience. Obviously, we want to get back there, But yeah, last year, being around my teammates, it was fun. And obviously, winning heals a lot of that. It makes everything fun. So that's what I want to do again.
There's a banner right there to your left that says runner-up. We want a different banner in there hanging up this year in a couple of weeks. So Chase, one more question for you. If there are players out there, potential student athletes looking for a place to come and play basketball, what would you say to someone looking for a place to play to get them to come here?
If you love basketball, this is the place to come. And if you want to be pushed every day and you love that motivation from your coaches or your teammates, this is definitely the place to come.
And then last question, goals outside of the college year. Once you finish at DDCC, what are some things or something that you've set for yourself?
Obviously, after DDCC, I want to go to a 4-year, continue my basketball career, but also my education and getting a bachelor's degree.
Good deal. Well, good luck to you in that. You're getting great exposure here and did a great job. Good luck to you guys tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Chase Mabin.
Good job, Chase. You and Bryce did a great job.
Every single player that we've had come and do the coaches show have been so well spoken, and they've done an outstanding job. So, I say this all the time, that great athletes, but even better people and good young men here. So, that's a testament to the program.
We got a little bit of time, and I'm looking out here in the crowd, and there's somebody that spends a tremendous amount of time behind the scenes working for us on social media.
Kevin Gardner?
Kevin does a great job promoting our players and our program on social media. So, Kevin, would you come on down for just a few questions?
Come on down, Kevin.
Kevin does all of our social media stuff, and I really appreciate all. I mean, I'll call him, text him at 10, 11 o'clock at night, and within 20 minutes he's got a graphic on social media. I mean, he does an amazing job. I don't even have to worry with that. So.
He's got all the videos up there and the player interviews too, right? You do player interviews.
Yeah, we've done a few of those as well this year. So not only have these guys had the opportunity to sit down here in the coaches show, but I've done a few things with them as well. And I think they do an excellent job. I mean, you comment about that, and they really do. They show some maturity through that, and some of them have done it before, and others not so much. So it's fun to watch them kind of grow through that.
Well, the more they do it, the more confidence they get, and the better they get at doing it too. So thank you for that, for doing that. So how long, Kevin, have you been a Storm supporter?
Gosh, I guess probably going back to about 2015 or 16 when I moved back to this area, and my brother, who I always kind of say, if I'm the loud one behind the bench, my brother's the loudest one. He's an extremely strong Storm supporter and has been for a while, and he introduced me to the Storm, and so I would say 3 or 4 years ago started coming to most of the home games and some of the road games, so several years now.
I know sometimes I see texts from you when you can't be here that you're in West Virginia or you're in Virginia or you're in Raleigh, and I think you were at the Wake, maybe a Wake game doing some scouting maybe or something.
Yeah, I was actually trying to keeping track of that game because where we were at that point in the season, Wake was right on our heels. So just kind of keeping track of what they had going on.
Well, you're aware of the history now of this 15-plus year program. What are your thoughts on the program that Coach Ridge and a lot of folks have built through these last 15 years?
Well, I think the program speaks for itself in terms of you continuing to have tremendous players that want to come through the program, and the fan base continues to rally around it, right? It's a community atmosphere. I mean, even looking around tonight and as you look at the overall program that's been built, there's a lot of people that put a tremendous amount of effort, a lot of volunteer time, and we talk about Manuel and the hours he puts into it. When people gather around and players continue to rally around the program and step in, it's one right after another, and that's very challenging to do in junior college atmosphere. It's obvious, it speaks for itself. So there's a tremendous program here where Matt has built up something where players know that they can come here and they're going to be a part of something special, and they're going to have opportunities as they go forward.
It really is something special. And we're sitting in a gymnasium, Brinkley Gym, where this team hasn't been beaten this year. But if you go back historically and look, I mean, the Storm program has a 92+% winning percentage right here at Brinkley Gym. That's just one of the things that make this program special. It's tough for opponents to come in here and play, right?
Oh, it's extremely difficult. In fact, I can't remember a loss in this gym that I've seen. And yeah, I mean, it gets loud in here and it's small, but we're right on top of the court here as fans, and it gets packed out. And I mean, oftentimes it's standing room only in the corners. And when you go to other road games, and there are some places that you'll go in our region where there is a good fan base, but it's not the same atmosphere as being here in Brinkley. It just isn't. It doesn't come close. And it is so loud, and the fans are so passionate. They understand the game. And so it really stands out. It really does.
So tell us a little bit about some of the work you do from the social media perspective.
Yeah, so, I do put together everything that goes up on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I've been helping Matt with that, Coach Rich, since last summer. I try to develop that as much as I can. I'm not an expert in that area. I'm a finance professional by trade. So for me, it's kind of interesting to be a little bit more creative. And Coach Ridge has allowed me to try a few different things this year and see what worked. He's allowed access to the players to do some of the interviews, access to the information, like the footage to be able to do some highlight reels, things like that. And so I'm trying to, through social media, trying to engage with the fan base, right, and get information out there to them, let them know what's going on with the program, promote the program itself, right, and then promote the players, right. And so if I can do those three things in everything that I'm doing, that defines success for me within trying to leverage social media for the program.
Do you have a favorite memory, a Storm memory that you want to share with us?
Gosh, that's a tough one. I mean, I think a couple of years ago, winning down the region championship down in North Carolina Wesleyan was pretty special. I mean, a lot of my family went down, and we made the trip down to see them because I think that was a little bit of stepping up from D3 into D2, right? And there was a bit of a culmination there of, that first year in D2 was a bit of a struggle, right? And as a fan base, I think, it was like, okay, this is going to be a new challenge, for Coach Ridge and for the program. And seeing that championship happen, it really was an exciting step forward. And we looked at the coach, and we were so proud of him. We were so proud of the players that had come together. And we could just see as a fan base, I think that what was going to be continued excellence for the program.
Do you have a favorite player? Put you on the
that's
spot
tough
like I
to
did.
say.
Manuel?
I don't know. I mean, I've been able to meet so many of these guys over the last year, and it's been a lot of fun. Certainly, a guy like Javion and LJ that I've gotten to know for the last 3 years, are special. And I've seen like Javion be out in the community and be at ball games, at my nephew's ball game or baseball game or whatever, right? So it's hard to pick out any one person because you get to know these guys and you look them in the eye, right? And when you look them in the eye and ask them questions and get to know a little bit about them, it's so hard to pick out one versus the other. They're just all such great young men.
I think you made the trip to Danville last year
No, I did not. No, my brother went down there. I did not. No, I didn't make this one, but last year. But I've already booked my reservation for this year.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I've got the hotel booked.
Good. Any words of encouragement for the team as we sit here thinking about we're on the eve of the Region 10 tournament, and then on the heels of that, the national tournament?
Yeah, I would say it's the little things that matter, right? It's all of the little things that the coach has gone over with you day in, day out for the last year. And focusing on those, you're going to get these guys are going to get a thick notebook, right, that are this thick. And those details that are in that notebook matter. And the little things that they've taught, the little things that they've worked on matter. And so as they go into that tournament, there are a lot of different teams that they're going to have to focus on and be ready to go, so start studying now, right? It's just like life. It's just like anything else that we do, whether it's in school or it's, in our professional careers. It's being ready ahead of time, right? It's that preparation beforehand that makes the difference.
Well, we certainly appreciate, Kevin, the work that you do and the support that you provide this program and really the face that you allow them to have on social media. It really makes a big difference, and it means a lot to these young men, their families, myself, the community, so thank you for that work.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you, Miles.
Kevin Gardner.
Miles, one of the things that I really wanted to do when I got this job 15 years ago was create a family atmosphere for not just our players, staff, but our community. And when I have guys like the Manuel Teagues, the Kevin Gardners, behind the scenes, and yourself, Jared Bowman, Tristan, on and on and on, it makes my job so much easier. And, these guys are very intelligent. Obviously, Manuel and Kevin are high-level guys, so we're blessed to have them a part of this.
Well, again, it's what makes a big part of this program special, Coach. All right, so I'll give you a chance to give a shout-out to some of our sponsors, and if folks are interested in helping out or supporting Storm basketball, how can they do that?
Well, we actually are trying to do something special this week, so if there's anyone out there interested in helping us this week, please give me a call as soon as possible. We're trying to raise a little bit of money to do something for the tournament, but at the end of the day, we're looking long-term here, and we've got Strickland Brothers on this court. We've got Todd Hunt, Jerry Hunt Auto on the side of Brinkley, as well as Mohawk Industries and Fidelity out there as well. And there's other levels below those levels where people are giving and businesses are giving. So if anyone is listening, please give me a call. There's different levels and packages that we offer for businesses and individuals.
Okay, reminder for the fans. Tomorrow night, next game right here at Brinkley, 7 o'clock, quarterfinal round of the Region 10 tourney against the Bobcats of Bryan and Stratton. Anything you want to ask the fans for?
Yeah, I just hope that our community will come out early tomorrow night. There's been a few games this year. One was Wake Tech where we, honest to goodness, probably had too many people in here, so it's a good thing the fire marshal didn't walk through the door. We might have had to shut the game down. So we will close the doors once it gets to capacity. I have somebody at the door now counting numbers, and when we get to capacity, we will shut the door. So please come out early and wear your Storm Blue. It should be an exciting game against a team that we were fortunate enough to barely beat this past Saturday.
Well, we also want to remind the fans our next coaches show, I think, is Thursday, March 10th. We'll be back, I think, at the Eatery in downtown Lexington. It was fun to do it here at Brinkley Gym tonight. I thought this was pretty good.
I agree. It was Jared's idea. So once again, the man behind the scenes, Jared Bowman.
Jared Bowman doing the engineering work, getting it all set up. Tristan Wells on camera. Coach, thank you very much. Thank our special guest, Manuel Teague, and Kevin Gardner, and Chase Mebbin, and Bryce Douglas, really, and all the guys that hung out and folks that came out to see this. So thank you for that, and thank you for everyone that tuned in. We had a lot of commentary tonight.
It was great, and I appreciate you so much. Maybe on the next coach show we can get Jared Bowman down here. That's what we really need to get him some airtime. He's behind the scenes working hard for us.
Jared Bowman could host. We'd get Jared to come down and host the show. We need to get Jared on the next show for sure. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for tonight's show. Thank you again for tuning us in, and we'll see you tomorrow night right here at Brinkley Gym, 7 o'clock.
Thank you.